I was just about to hit record and my dad rang me, so I've been to take a call from my dad. Whenever my dad rings me at work, he'll always ask how certain wrestlers are doing. So this is a Cultaholic Wrestling News update specifically for the captain. The Bushwhackers are doing all right, Tugboat's doing all right, The Undertaker's doing all right, Sting, both the wrestler and the singer, are both doing all right as well. Here is your wrestling news. A top WWE star was injured on last night's Raw. An AEW star pokes fun at Vince McMahon, and a SmackDown star has responded to a Twitter campaign. We'll talk about it in a bit. Last night on Monday Night Raw, we saw the dreaded X get thrown up during the Viking Raiders and Ricochet's match against the Hurt Business. Ivar dived outside of the ring, and as soon as he landed the move, you could just see him on the floor frantically throwing up the X. Shortly after this, the match had an abrupt ending. You got the vibe that I'm not going to give the ending to you because, you know, you might not have seen Raw yet. But I won't say the ending, but you could tell that the ending felt like it wasn't meant to be the ending. Like there was meant to be more, but they kind of wrapped the match up pretty sharpish. The doctors went to see to Ivar as well. The commentators suggesting that Ivar may have been injured. This certainly feels like a legitimate injury to Ivar at this point. We don't know yet the severity of the injury, but we do wish Ivar nothing but the best. It sucks if anybody gets injured, and it was good to see that WWE kind of wrapped up the match very quickly and got some medical assistance to Ivar, especially when there's so much being talked about right now about injuries during matches. It seems sort of weird timing that this is occurring in the time space that it is. But we said nothing but the best to Ivar. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, because it'd be a shame to lose Ivar from Monday nights. All the ladies love Ivar. Eric, not so much. Next week on Monday Night Raw, we have 2 WWE title matches to look forward to. The Raw Women's Championship is on the line as Mickie James challenges Asuka. These guys have battled before. They were part of NXT TakeOver a while back, and they fought on television previously as well. And Mickie James coming back off that injury that she sustained that kept her out of action for the majority of this and last year. It'll be good to see what these guys can do. I feel like Mickie James has got a lot to prove. It's been a very stop and start return for Mickie James. So good to see her mixing it up with Asuka next week. Also next week, we have champions colliding as the Street Profits are going to be facing off against Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. SmackDown Tag Team Champs meeting the Raw Tag Team Champs next week. Very intrigued to see what happens when all of these champions collide. There could be some fun to be had with that. We will talk more about Monday Night Raw on Raw Graded on the Cultaholic YouTube channel a little bit later on today. More on the WWE social media policy changes. Jack will have details on some new revelations in that in our second news video today. But AEW couldn't help but stick the elbow in the ribs, could they? It's just too easy. So we saw Kip Sabian at All Out making a little dig at how WWE guys have had some issues regarding using Twitch and Cameo going forward. So there's a dig that was made on All Out towards that. And Brody Lee once again pulling out that lampoon of Vince McMahon that he is one to do, in which on last night's Being the Elite, he chastises Evil Uno, saying that Twitch was dead and any third-party deals were detrimental to his company. Brody Lee's Vince impression has been very much lauded over the last few months since he made his debut, and he's really enjoyed the comparisons that have been made between himself and Vince McMahon. There was a point where he insisted that it was all just a coincidence. We know. As I say, we'll have more details on Vince McMahon and WWE's social media policy changes in our second news video today. I want to go back to July. There's an interview that Stephanie McMahon did with Gary Vee. Love the work of Gary Vee, by the way. Really intelligent, interesting, informative person, podcaster, entrepreneur, whatever you call him. So he had Stephanie McMahon on his podcast, and Stephanie said something that's come to light since all of this social media stuff has been pulled up. He's from Gary Vee's podcast back in July. Stephanie McMahon said, Steve Austin tells his story of standing at the curtain and was watching somebody, and he looked over at Vince and said, you should really give that kid a push. They've got something. My dad looked back and said, all I can provide is the opportunity. The rest is up to him. Austin said it was when a light bulb went off for him. Oh, this is really about me and my ability to listen and grow my brand. The talent we have today have more of an opportunity than anybody because of social media, because they recognize the opportunity to build their own brand and their voice inside and outside the ring. The more people engaged with you as a person, the more they want to see you perform in WWE. So Stephanie's saying that performers have a great opportunity to increase their brand awareness outside of the ring. Whether or not you think that goes against what's been said regarding the social media policy lately, I'll leave that with you. Super Tuesday tonight. Bet you forgot, didn't you? I nearly forgot. There's been so much wrestling out the wazoo over the last week. This nearly slipped my mind, and I feel foolish for it. It's a big night for NXT. 2 more matches added to tonight's show. We're going to see Bronson Reed taking on Austin Theory. These two have been going back and forth for several weeks now. They're going to get that sorted. Also, Killian Dane and Roderick Strong. We've seen the few members of the UE going after Killian Dane and Drake Maverick as of late, so that continues that one. Those 2 matches added to the card for tonight, which also includes a steel cage match between Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez, and of course the crowning of a new NXT champion, as Finn Balor and Adam Cole will fight with one fall to a finish to determine the new champion. We'll talk all about it on NXT Super Tuesday Graded tomorrow here on the Cultaholic YouTube channel. There's no reason why Adam Cole and Finn Balor will not absolutely tear it to the ground. Bobby Lashley, but not Bobby Lashley. Naomi has been talking about the Twitter campaign that was over social medias over the past month or so. Hashtag Naomi deserves better was wrestling fans and colleagues and peers alike expressing displeasure in the situation that Naomi finds herself in on the roster, believing that there is so much more that she has to offer. We've heard people very much for this, and we've heard people very much against this, like Booker T, who had some comments to make regarding the Naomi deserves better movement. Naomi herself spoke about it with TalkSport. She said there have been some discussions on future plans for her that have come about as a result of this outpouring of support. So because of the hashtag, there has been conversations within WWE about Naomi. And this is what Naomi said to TalkSport. She said, it's difficult because of the times that we live in, because the show is constantly changing and evolving. There is so much going on, so I don't know what the solutions are. All I can do is keep doing my part, keep showing up and giving it my all, ignoring the haters and continuing to do what I love. I'm happy to still be here, be present and be a player. It's not something I take for granted, especially after the big releases we had this year. Although what we do is very stressful at times, it's something I remind myself to be grateful and thankful for, that I'm still able to wake up every day, have a job to go to, and not just any job, but a dream job. We are going to look at this pandemic era years, maybe decades down the line and be, damn, that was crazy. She also talks, as we say, about how grateful she is that the social media world went to bat for her, so to speak. And I agree that Naomi deserves lots of great things in WWE. I'd love to see her more in the mix than she has been. Obviously, the stuff that she was doing with Lacey was karaoke, so that was the thing. Naomi deserves better than karaoke. So just to let you know, there'll be no WTF moments from Ross this week. We will still have Raw graded today. We will still have Super Tuesday graded tomorrow. AEW Dynamite graded with Jack will be along on Thursday. We have the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast on Friday. And of course, list videos and gradeds and worst to best ranked lists all be along. Usual stuff on the YouTube channel throughout the week as well. On the Cultaholic Twitch stream today, this evening actually, Adam Pacitti will be watching some classic British television. And if you are from the States and you want to know how we spent most of our quiet evenings in before broadband internet, you're going to want to check out what Adam's doing later on today. I'll be along at lunchtime today as well, 12 o'clock British time, for Movie Tuesdays. Do you want to watch a really old black and white movie with me? It's a bit different, isn't it? Twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Hope to see you there. Stay safe. Love you, bye.